Good morning, Ramalinga and his team. So, welcome to Valence Bond Theory session. The Jabardast important, the most likely, the most important, hot. So, whatever you can say, high order thinking. So, whatever decoratives are there, no, you please give all those decoratives to this theory that is called valence bond theory. Bond is formed because of valence electrons, and this is slightly better than the VSCP. VSCP are also about the valence electrons only. All it tells about the valence electrons. But only thing is how they present it. It is the presentation matters. Okay. It is the observation matters. All films are not super 8 films. Only some films are super 8 because they present it in a nice way. Same story, simple story. Okay. But the way they present it, the musical part, or the photography part, or the story part, or the direction part. So like that. So all the theories will tell about the valence electrons. But those using those valence electrons, how they are presented in a better way so that we can understand more. So VSCPR theory gave about the idea about the shape, but not exactly about the other parts. Therefore, VSCPR theory failed after some years. Now VBT has taken the charge. Okay, so we'll discuss about the VBT. So this VBT will come in the 12th class also. Therefore, kindly understand VBT now only very clearly so that in 12th class no doubt at all. So with this, I start VBT. Okay. Introduction to valence bond theory. Hmm? Okay. Here are some, this one, points. Okay. So the concept of covalent bond formation, which occurs because of sharing of electrons, does not provide us with any idea about the forces operating between the atoms. Only we said that sharing of electrons, why they go for sharing, what kind of forces operating between them, afterwards what shape they take. Okay, all this idea is given by this theory more correctly than the other theories. And why there is a difference between bond dissociation enthalpies and bond length in different molecules is not explained by the other theories. Best example is at the bottom. Okay, hydrogen and the fluorine both are diatomic. Both are made from the same atoms HH2, FF2. Well, what is the similarity? Similarity is both are diatomic molecules. But why there is a difference in the bond enthalpy? In the case of hydrogen, it is 435.8 kilojoules per mole, whereas in the case of fluorine, it is very less, 150.6 kilojoules per mole. And you see the bond length, 74 picometers in the case of hydrogen, and fluorine, it is 42 picometers. So why there is a difference in the bond enthalpy or the bond parameters, though they are diatomic? So this answer is given by VBT only. So it will tell that it is the size matters, it is the repulsion matters, it is the sharing matters, it is the shape matters. So all those are answers or the reasons given by the VBT. Also, the concept of covalent bonding does not signify anything about the shape of polyatomic molecules. So sharing is happening. Okay. After sharing is the problem. That is the work of what? PBT. So though VSCPR theory gives the geometry of simple molecules, but it does not explain them theoretically. So therefore, we need one more better theory than VSCPR. So let us go for the better theories. So there are two important theories of 11th class which are giving somewhat okay. Okay, in 12th class, one more is there that will give the still clear picture. So in the 11th class, we learn about the two theories better than VSCPR. So those uh, two theories are VBT and MOT, valence bond theory and molecular orbital theory. So molecular orbital theory is still again better than the VBT because it has taken care of what? Quantum mechanical model. Any theory which has taken care, which has used the knowledge of quantum mechanical model, that is the best theory as of now, because quantum mechanical approach is the best approach as of now. Okay, right. So valence bound theory, VBT. Then we'll go for the MOT. So this was given by Hitler and London recently in the year 1927, very recently. So 1927 is a very recent one. So, and afterwards, this is modified by Pauling and Slater. Pauling, you know very well, the great scientist who worked on the electronegativity. So that means all the four scientists, Hitler, London, Pauling, Slater, till 1931, they gave wonderful theory, VBT. So what is VBT? VBT is based on things like electronic configuration and overlap criteria and stability of a molecule. Three important. VBT will tell about the three points. Point number one, about the electronic configuration. Okay, that means it has made use of the structure of atom chapter thoroughly, where we have learnt Pauli, Hund, Aufbau, Heisenberg, de Broglie. So all those theories are made use in explaining the electronic configuration. Then overlapping of atomic orbitals. What is overlap? Overlap is falling one orbital over the other orbital, or mixing of atomic orbitals, we can say. Okay, so one orbital is mixing with the other orbitals. What are these orbitals? These are called as the atomic orbitals. For example, hydrogen having its own atomic orbital and chlorine having its own atomic orbital. When atomic orbital of the hydrogen overlaps, mixes or falls on the atomic orbital of the chlorine, so hydrogen chloride is formed. So like that, about the overlap, VBT gives idea. So point number one, about the electronic configuration, and point number two, how orbitals are overlapped. Okay, and point number three, after overlapping, they should go for the stability, keeping in mind least repulsions. So these 3 points are given by VBT. That's why this is far better than any other previous theories. Atoms consist of unpaired electrons, tend to bond with other atoms having unpaired electrons, which makes unpaired electrons to get paired. Hydrogen only one unpaired. Chlorine 287. In the 7 again 1. So one unpaired electron in the chlorine, one unpaired electron in the hydrogen. So they want to go for the bonding so that they become paired. So either hydrogen will go for one more hydrogen to go for the pairing, or one hydrogen will go for the one more different chlorine, again they go for the pairing, or chlorine goes for the one more chlorine, again pairing. That means the unpaired are becoming the paired, so that stability is achieved. Okay, so this is the what point number one, that is the, about electronic configuration where unpaired is there, they want to pair up. Okay. When two electrons are shared between atoms, it forms a bond. Okay, so two electrons between two atoms, when they are shared, when they are paired, that is what force which holds atoms together, known as a chemical bond or simply a bond. The number of bonds formed by an atom is usually the same as the number of unpaired electrons in the ground state. In the ground state, what is the atomic number of chlorine? It is 17, 287. It is 287. How to write the 7? It is 17, no? Atomic number 17. It is 2, 8, 10, 7. So how to write 7? In the 7 it is S, in the S orbital 2 are there, and in the P 5 are there. So in the P orbital 5 it is 2, 2, 1. That one unpaired is there, no? That one unpaired. So number of unpaired electrons in the chlorine is 1. So it can go for only one bond formation with either hydrogen or with itself or with any sodium. That means number of bonds formed is equal to the number of unpaired electrons. It is the unpaired electrons which are taking part in the bonding. But sometimes what happens, paired also will take part unless they become unpaired. So how to unpair the paired? You have to destabilize. So that means you have to supply some amount of energy so that paired becomes unpaired. That means what? You have to shift the electrons from the lower energy level to the higher energy level, where empty space is available. If the space is available, then only you can go for the excitation or jumping from lower level to the higher level. So either if it is having unpaired, it will go for the bonding. Number of unpaired equal to number of bonding, that is okay. By chance, if all electrons are paired, it want to go for the bonding. What to do? That time you promote electrons, you jump electrons, you excite electrons, you shift electrons from the lower energy level to the higher energy level. Thereby you are creating atmosphere what? Unpaired electron atmosphere you are creating, so that it becomes more active, then it goes for the bonding. Otherwise, sometimes you want to go for the more bonding. Already unpaired is there. For example, chlorine. Chlorine. It is 287. That 7 again 25. So again 2 5 water 2 to 1. So one unpaired is there. It will go for the one bonding. If it want to go for one more bonding, then the two electrons which are there in the p orbital, that is made unpaired by supplying energy. Okay. So that two electrons will jump and becomes unpaired, two unpaired. Already one unpaired is there. Now two more unpaired, that means it can go for three bonding. Or if it want to go for few more bonds by unpairing the paired electrons of the one more p orbital, the time that p orbital which is paired is again made unpaired by supplying energy, so that totally we have the 5 unpaired electrons. So after having 5 unpaired electrons, all those will go for the bonding. So number of bonds formed equal to 5, because number of unpaired electrons are 5. This you will see in the PCl5, phosphorus pentachloride. Okay, so like that. So number of bonds formed is equal to the number of unpaired electrons. If unpaired are there, they'll go for the bonding. If a provision is there to go for the unpairing, please go for the unpairing. But provided you should have place for excitation. So you are promoting electrons, no? Those electrons will go to higher level. So higher level should be empty. Okay, so if the higher level orbitals are empty, then you can promote, then you can excite, then you can go for the unpaired, then only possibility of the extra bonds is there, otherwise no. Okay, so all these are there in the VBT. That's why this is the better theory than the previous theories, right? And here in the VBT, it has taken care of what? Pauli's exclusion principle. What is the principle? The spin of two electrons must be opposite. Similar spin will not be there in the same orbital. For example, in the s orbital there are two electrons. Those two electrons are with the opposite spin, either clockwise, anti-clockwise, or upward bottom one, or half arrow mark upward, half arrow mark lower. So in different way we represent. So in any orbital where the maximum capacity of the any orbital is 2, and those two electrons are with opposite spin, that means VBT has taken care of quantum mechanical model in that Pauli's exclusion principle. Now take the example of HF. So in the HF, H has singly occupied s orbital, because the only one electron, the 1s1. And in the fluorine what? It is 9, 1s2, 2s2, 2p5. In the 2p5, 2 to 1, 1 again single electron. So single electron of the 1s of the H and a single electron of the 2p of the F, they go for the overlapping, they go for the sharing, HF is formed. Single bond. Okay, right. Now in the water you see. So in the water, O is atomic number 8. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. It is 2p4. How to write 2p4? 2p4 is written as 211, because Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. So we have two unpaired electrons. So oxygen can go for the two bonds. Those two bonds are here, you see. Two H bonds, two bonds from the O. And H can go for only one bond. Why? Only one electron is there. So number of bond is equal to the number of unpaired electrons. Once again. Okay. Right. In the same way, nitrogen, there are three unpaired. So three bonds it can go for. So 3H are there. So NH3. So like that. So number of bonds equal to the number of unpaired electrons. By taking the example of what? HF, water and ammonia, we understood. Now this is what? This is the orbital overlapping concept of covalent bonding in the VBT. That means atomic orbitals will overlap. So one orbital will fall on the other. That means they go for the bonding in a simple way. Okay, right. When the two atoms comes closer to each other, and when two bonding orbital merges, it is known as overlapping of the orbitals. Yeah. So one orbital is penetrating into the other orbital, or one orbital is merging into the other orbital, or one orbital is overlapping on the other orbital. So all these are what? Reasons for a bond formation. That means this is the condition for the bond formation. And this is known as what? Orbital overlapping concept of atomic orbitals. And when the atomic orbitals are overlapped, we get a molecular orbitals, because atom is converting into what now? Molecule. So atomic orbitals are converting into molecular orbitals. So in short, AOs, atomic orbitals are converting into what? Molecular orbitals, MOs. Okay. Because of what? Because of the overlapping of atomic orbitals. Right. So the overlapping orbitals result in the pairing of electrons. Definitely, that orbital will come with single electron, and one more orbital will come with single electron. They will overlap. They will pair up. Bond forms. Greater overlapping results in stronger bond formation between the atoms. That means they should overlap effectively. See, in the Gandhi Chowk we are going with our vehicle. So sometimes due to some reason, so due to our own mistake or someone's mistake, so we came across what our vehicles will go with, collide with another vehicle. Okay, it is called accident or the collision of the vehicles. See, there are variety of accidents. Simply just a small touch, we have a scratch on the vehicle. Okay, we will just fall. If a very serious two vehicles come head-on collision, it is serious accident. That time there are some problems for the vehicles, for the human beings. That means it depends upon the effective accident. Like in the same way, when the orbitals overlap effectively, merge correctly, that time the bond is strong. So the strength of a bond depends upon the effective overlap of atomic orbitals. So that means atomic orbitals should go for effective overlap. Then only we expect a stronger bond. Otherwise, weak bond is formed, and that weak bond can be ruptured. That means what? That molecule is unstable. Once again, the third point I said, VBT will explain about the third point, stability. So for the stability, orbitals should overlap effectively. So let's understand by taking the example of hydrogen. Okay, because normally we take that example only from the beginning, because that is simplest first member, hydrogen. So when hydrogen goes for the overlapping with one more hydrogen to form hydrogen molecule, so how it is explained, that we understand. Then we understand other complex molecules. Okay. Hydrogen atom consists of a single electron, that is in 1s, it is written as 1s1. Now, according to Pauli's exclusion principle, an orbital can hold two electrons of opposite spin. Therefore, when these two atoms having electrons with the opposite spin approach each other closely, their orbitals overlap. So, one H will come with 1s1, one more H will come with its 1s1, they overlap. So, it is 1s2 forms in the case of what? Hydrogen molecule. So due to the overlapping, the two atomic orbitals merge into a bigger cloud called molecular orbital. See here. So atomic orbital is converting into what? Molecular orbital. It is called a bigger electronic cloud. Earlier, only small cloud was there. Now two clouds have clashed. So bigger cloud is formed. That is called molecular orbital cloud. The molecular orbital contains both electrons. Electrons of what? Both atoms. The two electrons can be shared under these conditions. Then start sharing only. Unless they come close, unless they overlap. Okay. So sharing will not take place. When the conditions are supportive, conditions are favoring, then only they go for the sharing. For this, they have to overlap. As a result, the two hydrogen atoms are held together in the form of a molecule by a chemical bond known as the covalent bond. Thus, according to orbital theory, the formation of a covalent bond between two atoms is because of the pairing of electrons with opposite spins belonging to valence shells of the pairing atoms. So, two atoms, hydrogen atoms are pairing here. Both are with unpaired with the opposite spin. One hydrogen comes with clockwise spin. One more hydrogen comes with anti-clockwise. They will pair up. If same spins are coming, they will not overlap. Now, so for overlapping, one more condition: what? Spin. Spin matters a lot. So both will come with opposite spin, plus, minus, or clockwise, anti-clockwise, or upward or the downward. So in any way you can tell. So the two atomic orbitals will come with two unpaired electrons with two different upward spin. Then only this will happen. See the condition. How many conditions are there? See, all these are what? Overlapping. So here I have made two types of overlaps. One is a positive overlap, other one is a negative overlap. What is meant by positive overlap? So positive overlap is what? This is the p orbital. Okay. So coming with contact with what? One more p orbital. But here I have shown plus plus. That means the plus indicates not the mathematics plus here. Minus plus in this concept, not related to any mathematics here. Plus indicates availability of electron. So in this orbital, p orbital, electron is spending more time in this area. That is, probability of finding electron in this region is more. So in the same way, if the probability of finding electron of this orbital is in this area, if they approach each other, then only overlapping take place. Otherwise, no overlapping. Such overlapping is called as what? Positive overlap. So it is the positive overlap will give the result or bond formation. See this negative overlap? So for this atomic orbital, electron is available because plus sign. So plus indicates availability of electron. Minus indicates electron is not available. For this orbital which is approaching, it is approaching without electron because electron is available this side now. So it is spending that time. See, when they want to overlap, when they want to share, when they want to go for the bonding, that time electron of this orbital is not available in this region. It is available somewhere far away. So that means though they overlap, but it is called negative overlap because electron is not available in that region. So for the bonding, only one electron from one atom is available. One more electron from the other atom is not available. It is somewhere. So for in that moment, so no overlapping takes place, no bonding. This is called negative overlap. So this is what overlap of p orbital with p orbital. So this is pp orbital. So pp overlapping. So pp positive overlapping. pp negative overlapping. This you see, one is p orbital, one is s orbital. So both are plus plus available. Bonding happens. So positive overlap of s and the p. Negative overlap of the s and the p. You see, this is one more way, side way of overlapping. This is straight way. Nucleus, nucleus in the same line. Nucleus, nucleus of these two orbitals are in the same line. Okay, same axis, symmetry. Whereas here, so nucleus is here, but sideways they are overlapping. But electrons are available. Though they are overlapping sideway, electrons are available in the both orbitals. So this is called a positive overlap of pp sideway. This is the positive overlap of the pp straight away. Okay, so this is negative pp overlapping. This is again positive in the z-axis, okay, or x-axis, which you take anyway. So on this one more direction. See, direction also matters. In a proper direction where electron is available, okay, then effective overlap. So when all these conditions are okay, then only bonding starts. Otherwise, no. So others are called as negative overlap. When bond forms, only that overlap is called as what? Positive overlap. Positive overlap, negative overlap. Okay. Now see, this is what? Zero overlap. Because the orientation is not good here. So here, S orbital is coming not in this here. It is coming in between somewhere. So simply it is approaching, but without any purpose. Okay. Therefore, so this is not taken as a neither positive overlap or negative overlap. So this is called zero overlap. So here bonding is impossible. So no bonding. So this is also no bonding only. This is also no bonding only. At least some to some extent overlapping we may think here. So here overlapping is not possible. Therefore, this is the first priority. Next priority not possible. Third priority is impossible. If this approach is here, here neither orientation is correct, nor approach is correct, nor overlapping is correct. So nor direction is correct, axis is correct. Everything is wrong. So it is called zero overlap. Zero overlap of the pp orbitals. Zero overlap of the s and the p orbital. So here this is not taken at all, not thought at all. Okay. So this is what? Overlapping of atomic orbitals. Now see, types of overlapping orbitals. SS orbital. So straight away axis. If two nuclei will join together by the this way, it is comes under what? Sigma bonding. The bond formed is called what? Sigma bonding. So this is what? Sigma bonding. SS sigma bonding. One is S here, one is P here. Axis are on the same, nuclei are on the same axis. Therefore, this is SP sigma bonding. Here both are p orbital, both are on the same axis nuclei. So it is pp sigma bonding. So this is not the pp sigma bonding. Both are p only, but the axes are not on the same line. Though they are on the same line, but overlapping is in different way. Okay, so here overlapping is not taking place by joining the two nuclei on the same axis. So it is sideway. When the p orbitals are overlapping on the sideway, it is called pi bond. On the axis where nuclei is joining, sigma bond. So this is what pp sigma bond, and this is pp pi bond. Okay, so depend upon the type of the overlapping, we can what have sigma bond and the pi bond, but sigma bond has to form first. Unless a sigma bond forms, don't think of a pi bond, because sigma bond will give the grip or the framework, or the it will give the framework like a skeletal. For a human body, skeletal is the framework, no? So like that, it is the backbone, skeletal, or the framework, or the grip, that's the support. So main is what? Sigma bond. Sigma bond has to form first. After forming sigma bond, if there is a provision, if extra electrons are available, if there is a possibility of the sideway overlap, then only pi bond forms. Directly pi bond is not formed without sigma bond. So sigma bond has to form, then we think of the pi bond. So sigma bond, then pi bond, then one more pi bond, and so on like that. Okay, right. Strength of sigma and the pi bond. What I said, sigma bond, it is head-on collision. When the two vehicles will collide head-on with a greater speed, it is a effective accident and a life-threatening accident, that is. Okay, so only side touch is there, not a problem at all. Like that, here also in the two orbitals overlap exactly where the nuclei are mixing. Okay, that is the effective overlap. So sigma bond forms. So sigma bond is stronger than the pi bond. So that only we wrote here. So we can go through all these notes. Okay. So therefore, the sigma bond is stronger than a pi bond, already told. So it is interesting to note that pi bond between two atoms is formed in addition to a sigma bond. Correct? So sigma bond has to form first. Then only pi bond forms. That is explained here. Already I told you. The fourth and the final about the sigma and the pi bond, it is always present in the molecules having multiple bonds. Okay. So that means what? Multiple bonding happens when the sigma bond forms sideway, whether sideway, two-way sideway, or one-way sideway, depend upon the availability of the electrons, depend upon the effective overlap. So sigma bond has to form, then we can go for the multiple bonding. So only multiple bonding is impossible. That you want to convey. So the beautiful theory by Hitler, London, Pauling, and the Slater, all those. So nicely we understood what is meant by the VBT. So VBT is what? VBT's main is what? Overlapping of atomic orbitals. It is what? Overlapping of atomic orbitals. The two effective overlapping of atomic orbitals. First point we understood. That again depends upon what? Orientation and extent of approach. Then sigma bond, pi bond. So when the straight away overlapping is there, nuclei on the same axis, that is the sigma bond, strong bond. So because overlapping is effective here, whereas the pi bond is what? Sideway, not that much effective. So next place, that is the first place is to sigma bond, next place is to the pi bond. Okay, so all these we learnt. And one more point, what? Positive overlap and negative overlap. So again depends upon what? The availability of the electron and the orientation, proper angle, so proper distribution, then only positive overlap is there, bond formation is there, otherwise no bond. So that is negative overlapping. Zero overlap is, it is impossible at all. So all these points we learnt in the VBT, very beautiful points. So in the tomorrow session, one more interesting topic is there in the VBT, that is called mixing of atomic orbitals. Okay, that is called what? Hybridization. This we learnt in the biology. Hybrid seeds, hybrid animals, hybrid plants, like that. Here also hybrid atomic orbitals. So that for that point we require special session. So in the special session tomorrow we learn how atomic orbitals are mixed so that they go for the hybridization, and that is the most and the best effective overlap of atomic orbitals to go for the molecular orbitals. So with this I am going to conclude today's session on VBT first part. So VBT second part tomorrow. Till then, keep studying the textbook and make notes, and so that it is a perfect. Thank you, my dear students.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, anything? Okay.